Prayer, in our Father's tongue, is not a faint idea in the head. It is breath. It is body. It is voice. A Hebrew does not say, "I thought a prayer." He calls. He cries. He kneels. He intervenes. The word most often on their lips is palal. That root does not mean recite prayers. It means to step into the court, to plead, to intercede, to intervene for the clan. Prayer is covenant advocacy, standing before Yahweh the judge, yet also Yahweh the Father. Then there is qara, to call on the name. Names in our tents are not labels. They carry presence. To call on Yahweh's name is to step inside his tent flap, to anchor to his face, to pull his covenant promises into this moment. There are the cries, za'ak, na'aka, sounds pressed from the lungs when suffering wrings the body. In Egypt, Israel groaned, and their za'ak went up. No liturgy, no poetry, just a cry. And Yahweh heard, and there is barak, to kneel, to bless. Here, the body speaks first. The knees bend, the palms open, the head bows. The body blesses before the mouth ever forms words. So already we see, Hebrew prayer is not abstract. It is embodied breath, cry, voice, posture, plea, and above all, it is rooted in covenant. This is where Israel stands apart from the nations. Canaanite and Babylonian prayers were spells, chants, formulas, manipulations, say enough, bleed enough, bribe enough, and maybe the gods will move. But Israel never prayed this way. Elijah laughed at Baal's prophets who shouted until noon, cut their flesh, piled words on words. No voice answered, because no one was there. In Israel, prayer is not magic. Prayer is breath inside a covenant bond. Yahweh is not bribed nor coerced. He is called upon as the one who has already bound himself in faithfulness. And the smells of prayer? In the temple, incense rose, a thin blue ribbon curling upward, carrying covenant cries. In the wilderness, prayer smelled of sweat and dust. In exile, it smelled of clay floors and wooden windowsills. Wherever it rose, it was breath as incense, life exhaled back to the giver of breath. That is the soil. Now let's trace the vine as it winds through the scriptures. Genesis plants the seed. Cain and Abel bring offerings. Men begin to qara the name of Yahweh. Abraham learns the grammar of intercession. He bargains over Sodom like a clan elder at the gate. Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50, 45, 40, bold, stubborn, covenantal? This is palal, not safe, not distant, bold advocacy on the strength of Yahweh's own promises. The vine thickens in Egypt. Israel groans under Pharaoh's whip. Their prayers are not psalms yet, but raw cries, za'ak. Torah says their cry went up, and Yahweh saw, heard, knew. That triad is prayer in essence, human breath rising, divine ear bending, covenant heart knowing. Then comes Moses climbing Sinai, praying as priest. When the calf of gold glitters below, judgment threatens to consume. Moses steps between, turn from wrath. Remember Abraham, Isaac, Israel. He even offers his own life. Blot me out, if you will not forgive them. Prayer becomes costly, standing in the breach, carrying the weight of a people. In Shiloh, Hannah pours her soul out. Lips move, voice nearly silent. The priest thinks her drunk. Yahweh knows her plea. Prayer can be a whisper so thin only heaven hears, yet it is heard. In the caves of Judah, David groans, shouts, sings. His psalms teach every register of prayer, lament, praise, trust, repentance, always anchored in covenant memory. Remember your steadfast love. Remember your servant. When he lifts hands, kneels, or cries aloud, it is prayer as incense, rising from caves, palaces, and bedsides alike. Elijah strips prayer bare on Mount Carmel. The prophets of Baal cut themselves, chant for hours, but nothing answers. Elijah prays once, tied to covenant memory. Let it be known that you are Elohim in Israel. Fire falls and licks the stones. Prayer does not make Yahweh present. Yahweh's covenant presence makes prayer fire. Jeremiah weeps. Habakkuk argues. They teach us that prayer can wrestle. You deceived me, Jeremiah cries, yet cannot stop speaking Yahweh's word. Habakkuk demands, how long must I cry? Yahweh answers with a vision that tarries yet will not lie. Prayer can limp. Jacob showed this by the river, clinging all night, refusing to release, walking away wounded yet blessed. Sometimes the limp is part of the gift. When Solomon spreads hands over the new temple, he prays that Yahweh would hear every exile prayer turned toward this house, and centuries later, Daniel fulfills it. In Babylon, far from altar and land, he kneels 3 times a day toward Jerusalem, morning, noon, night. Prayer becomes the portable sanctuary. The altar is now a window. The incense is breath. Exile cannot choke covenant breath. Even the fish's belly becomes a sanctuary. Jonah cries, from the belly of the qever I called. Seaweed crowns his head like mockery, yet Yahweh hears. Prayer can rise from the pit. There is no prayer land. Then Yeshua steps into our dust and gathers all the strands. He rises early to pray. He slips away to lonely places. He prays through the night. His teaching is plain. Our Father in the heavens, your name be honored. Your Malkut come. Your will be done, daily bread. Forgiveness, protection from trial, earthy covenant breath. He warns, do not heap up empty words like the nations. Prayer is not information delivery. It is trust. It is alignment. It is sonship. And in Gethsemane, his knees press stone. Sweat like blood falls heavy. His breath condenses in the cold night. Not my will, but yours. The essence of all prayer. Fasting, prayer, and offering meet in this moment. He has eaten the covenant meal. He will pour out his life as covenant cup, and in between he breathes surrender. This prayer carries the world. At dawn, he breathes again, resurrected breath filling his chest, and soon the upper room fills with prayer. Voices rise, the house shakes, tongues of fire rest. They pray not for safety, but for boldness. And the covenant word runs down Roman roads like wildfire. Prayer becomes the clan's breath. Peter on a rooftop prays at noon. A sheet of animals falls from heaven, and covenant expands to Gentiles. Cornelius, a soldier, has prayers that rise like a memorial before Yahweh. His breath bends history. Paul writes from prison, pray without ceasing. He does not mean mouth words without pause. He means breathe covenant air in every season. Work, walk, eat, fast, sing. Let each breath return to Yahweh. The body remembers how. Kneel to bless, stand to plead, lift hands to open, fall on your face, whisper in secret, shout in the valley. Prayer rises from clay floors, from caves, from rooftops, from exile. Always breath, always rising. So here is the braid. Meals are covenant fellowship, tasting promises. Fasting is covenant hunger, body telling the truth of need. Prayer is covenant breath. Inhale promise, exhale plea. A clan that stops praying is like a man holding his breath. His face pales, his knees weaken, but a clan that breathes, morning, noon, night, keeps the tent flap open. The wind moves, the fire brightens, the night cannot hold. So breathe, call on his name, kneel, cry, bless. Let your breath rise like incense. Wrestle if you must, cling until dawn. If surrender is asked, open your hands, because prayer is covenant breath. Without it, the tent collapses. With it, the tent lives, filled with wind.